Hey guys, I'm standing here with Georgia State safety Bobby Baker, and we are here to show a different side of him as he's preparing for the NFL draft. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. So walking up, we chatted for a little bit about how there's this same storyline going on for your journey to the NFL, and part of that storyline is your transition from 4 different schools and your position transition from receiver to safety. Talk about how that's really crucial to showing who you are and what you're willing to do when you get drafted by a team.
Yeah, so I mean the biggest thing for me was the big changes as far as, new relationships, new places, new opportunities. So they've really been a blessing, but they've been interesting to see kind of how they molded me to kind of change who I am or help me grow. The people, the coaches that I've been a part of, the teams I've been a part of, they've really been a family for me.
Okay.
And so it's really been thankful in my opinion, and helpful for me.
Okay, that's awesome. That's good to hear. So coming from community college football to big time universities like, UAB, and Georgia State, different levels. Talk about the transition of your mindset to be mentally prepared for that, because physically you can do it, you're on the field, you're there to grind, but mentally how are you preparing yourself for that actual transition?
I think the biggest thing for me was really just film.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing that can really help you. I kind of think of it as like a cheat code.
Okay.
You play video games and you're trying to get an advantage or whatever to kind of make it easier. The film is huge. The JUCO, we kind of don't have the same resources as far as film because the money's just not the same.
Right.
But when I got to UAB, I realized how big of a deal that was to kind of one up a lot of people.
Okay.
And a lot of people, it's not fun, it's not interesting. And what I did was I made that fun for me. Like, I'll sit down and I'll just watch film late at night when I don't have anything to do because I enjoy watching, enjoy breaking down little things and being real analytical on that. So that's been super helpful for me, especially the mental part. Like you said, it's not always about the strength or the physical part, but the mental aspect of everything. So.
Right. So when you say that that's been, basically like your advantage, talk about how when I think you stated in an actual article where, being a receiver, you have to depend on the quarterback to get the ball to you so you can make the play. And you wanted to transition into being a safety and make the play yourself. So talk about how you know what it is that you can bring to a team and how you would be willing to possibly transition into another position if that needs to happen.
Right. I think my understanding of football is really what helps me be able to do that. Go from receiver to safety, play corner, play any position, linebacker, anything that they would need me to play. Watching that film, like I can break down what a corner does, what a receiver does, what a quarterback even does. Like I know the steps necessary. So when I watch quarterbacks, when I watch their film, I can say, okay, he throws over like this instead of a sidearm.
Okay.
His steps, his technique, I can kind of break down that stuff.
So you're cheating a little bit there.
A little bit, but that just comes from studying the game, and it's very helpful for me. So I can tell, okay, he's a 3-step, he's a 5-step. Just those little things that kind of make a difference, and that has been super helpful for me. I think having that experience and having that knowledge would make it, easy to transition back if I needed to. Like I could play receiver.
Right.
And that was actually kind of like my first love position-wise because I always liked the technical part of kind of breaking it down and making a DB cover me as opposed to me covering the receiver. So that was always interesting, but like you said, when I realized I went to an all-star game my senior year of high school, and they said you can play receiver, you can play safety. And I was like, you know what, I like receiver, I'm going to play receiver. So I went to play receiver and practiced, and all week had a great practice. The coaches were really liking me. The quarterback was loving me. We had a real good connection. So we go into the game, and I'm starting at a receiver. And the entire game, they didn't throw the ball to me not one time. We ended up changing our whole scheme from practice where we were like 60% pass to now we were like 70% run.
So you had to adjust. You had to be prepared to say maybe, hey, put me on defense. Let me see what I can do. Did you do that? Like, did you step up and say, like, I'm ready? Like, how did that happen?
Frustratingly enough, I wasn't able to do that in the All-Star game because there's like 10 other guys that have been practicing all week. So in practice, if I would have went out there and done that,
and done both,
then I could be like, all right, I'm going here now. Which I realized later on, but I didn't expect it. Yeah, exactly. It's a lesson learned. So after that, that's when I realized, okay, I need to make my own opportunities. At defense, you know, you go wherever the ball is, you make your own plays. The coach calls whatever he can call cover 3, but it's your job to get to the ball and make a play on the ball. So that's what I love about defense.
That's awesome. So I mean, just getting the meat of your storyline out and talking about that, I mean, it's inspiring because although I've seen the same storyline, the same story, it's still great to hear how you've transitioned and how easy it has looked for you. Now, you're from Los Angeles though, and you're here in Atlanta, Georgia. Talk about the difference in the two cities. You know, they're big cities on both ends of America, but I mean, talk about how you've had to adjust being in the South.
The most interesting thing to me has been the culture, the style of dress, the way people talk. Just
like me, for instance.
Like that is interesting to me. And at this point, I go back home, and some of my friends are like, "Dude, you've been in Atlanta for a long time," because you know the way that I talk is a little bit different as well. So that has been the most interesting thing. Also, the biggest difference in the football aspect from Los Angeles, specifically like the West Coast, and then the South, is the style of football, where the South is more of a power. It's more of a power style. So you get a lot more run, you get a lot more ISO up the gut, a lot more running, as opposed to on the West Coast where it's more pass. They're trying to get the ball out into the space and spread things out a bit more. So it's like the difference between Pac-12 and SEC. You know what I mean? They both have things that they're really good at, but I think that's one thing that's been helpful for me is taking what I've learned from the West Coast, bringing it to the South, taking that from the South and kind of just molding it together and kind of create myself.
Now talk about the fans. Like, I know coming from community college football to UAB and Georgia State, when you got to Georgia State, you're in a dome, you know. Talk about how that played into, you know, you being prepared to go out and go play and be hyped, you know, like it's different, you know, you're inside. So talk about that experience and how that's going to help you on the next level.
That's been huge for me. I think the biggest thing that's kind of been motivation for me was knowing like the Falcons were here earlier this week. And knowing that we're in the same stadium and in the same facility as them kind of was like motivation for me, because I'm like, hey, this Julio Jones locker here, you know. So that was really interesting for me, and it kind of gave me a lot of motivation and inspiration. But really the aspect on the sense of like environment, you know, the crowd's a little bit louder because, you know, you have walls, everything's just bouncing off each other. So that's always been super interesting to me. But another great thing is you don't have to worry about the sun, you don't have to worry about the rain, you don't have to worry about tornadoes or anything.
Maybe when you step outside the dome, you're going to walk into something different here in Atlanta, because we know how the weather is here. But when you're in the dome, you're good. You're perfect. So, okay, well, that's cool. From that aspect, to me, one of the biggest things that I did like about one major story, I think it was 11 Alive News, was that, you know, they talked about how you stood out at the Falcons workout. And you did state, like, it would be awesome if you could be here. Like, if you could transition from the Dome to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, that would be awesome. But you also are prepared to go to any other NFL team that picks you up. Talk about how important it is for you to really voice how you feel. Like, because a lot of players, they don't want to say they don't want to go to certain teams. They don't want to say that they want to stay where, you know, where they are if they're in an actual NFL town. But for you, you vocally said, like, it would be amazing if I could do that. So talk about that.
Definitely. Like I said, it would be amazing just to go from the old Georgia Dome to the new Georgia Dome. So I think that'd be a blessing for me, and it'd be just crazy how it all worked out.
Right.
But I mean, like you said, I'm down to go anywhere. Whoever wants me the most is where I want to go. I don't want to go to a team that I may like more, but that doesn't like me as much when there's another team that loves me.
Right.
So I want to go to who really loves me, and that's kind of how you have longevity and you stay in a program.
Right.
So that's my biggest thing. I don't really care if it's on the West Coast, East Coast, North, South. It doesn't matter to me as long as they really like who I am as a person and as a player. So
I like that. Now another thing that I saw about you is that you started reading when you got your injury at UAB, correct? And you were paying attention to more business things because you knew that football is probably not going to last long. So for you looking at, stating and learning where your voice is as a football player, how is that going to help you if and when you have to be a free agent or you have to be undrafted or you have to figure out how to make yourself stand out outside of what you've been doing on the field?
Well, I mean, the first thing was, like you said, when I tore my ACL, I got hurt, and I was forced to sit down for a second. And so when you're forced to do that, you start to look at things a little differently, and you start to find different things that you're interested in. So that was really a blessing in disguise for me. When it first happened, I was like terrified. I was like, I can't believe it.
Right.
But as I started looking at it the right way, I started realizing, okay, this is an opportunity for me to take advantage of my mind and really strengthen my mind, because a lot of times we're so worried about lifting weights, getting strong, getting fast, but we never really strengthen our mind. We never do anything for that. So that was when I started reading and started learning, reading articles, reading books, watching a lot of videos that were helpful. And so that was huge impact on who I am today, and I feel like I've just gotten better in that sense. The other thing that you mentioned was as far as